It is January and we've spent 4 days in Palm Springs. Today it's time to go home. What'd
It
you
was
think?
it was beautiful, peaceful.
Right. Palm Springs was 80 degrees. Colorado Springs was, what, in the 20s?
I think it was in the high 20s, but it was cold, they said.
Yeah. So this was our time to recharge here in beautiful Palm Springs. It's our first time here. And now we go back to work and back to the good life of our lives.
Yep, back to the good life.
All right. Good day, YouTube. This is a collaboration. A friend of mine, Mitchell Moore from New York City, contacted me and said he wanted to do collaboration with me. He made his video titled Listen More, Speak Less. And then he wanted me to watch it and also come back and put my input. I'm going to put the link to Mitchell's video at the bottom of this so you can see what he started just a few days ago. Have you ever thought about this? When you go to college or when you go to high school, we can take classes on speech, and that involves speaking in public, whether it's your classroom, the auditorium, wherever that may be. It talks about different types of speeches, how to prepare, know what you're talking about, know your audience, keep your audience in tune, kind of like a YouTube account, a YouTube video. Are you going to capture the audience's attention? But often we don't take classes, or there aren't that many classes, if any, on listening. That's something that I learned, that somebody taught me throughout my life, saying we take classes on speech, but we don't take classes on listening. That's what I want to talk about. So my friend Mitchell talked about a few things, that there are different people. Some are going to be experts and they know it. Some are not going to be experts, and they don't know that they're not the experts. They think they are. There are people who don't know it all. In fact, most of us don't know it all, and that's a good thing. Credibility is something that he talked about as well. So if you're talking to someone, are you credible, or are you just blabbering? Because we all know that individual who does that every single day on every single topic. Are we giving advice to someone on a personal thing or professional thing as well? Listen first, then speak. And Mitchell talked about listening to wise people. I'm going to add that wise people can be young and old. I just got back from a few days in Palm Springs with my wife, and people asked me, what did you do? Did you go do this and that? I said, nope. We stayed under the sun by the pool for 3.5 days. That's all we did, and at night we walk out to go get dinner somewhere downtown Palm Springs, my first time being there. As soon as we got to the hotel, I was listening to an older lady, and I couldn't see what she looked like. She was behind me talking to a friend, and let's just say she is 70 years old, and she was saying, in my mind, I feel like I'm 30, but my body is a little bit older, and I'm still going to do what I want to do. So I was listening to her. Not like I said, I couldn't tell you what she looked like, but I was listening to wisdom as well, in the sense that I love speaking with people or listening to people. When we say listen more, speak less, another thing that I've learned is this. When somebody comes to me for advice, let's say face to face, I've learned to ask, do you want me to listen to you? Do you want me to listen and provide input just so I get clarification? Because sometimes people really don't want to hear what we have to say or what I have to say. They just want to vent. Of course, you can play it by ear and kind of see and gauge. Do they want you to provide input? If so, they're going to ask you for their input, or do they just want to vent? Social media is a big thing now. I have Instagram, and I like to watch people there. It's like people watch, just like we would at the mall. And sometimes, here's what I've learned, is post what's important, but don't post every single thing, because it can backfire. People start to talk about others instead of listening to them. They start talking behind their back, and that's not a good thing. So I've been very careful as to what I post on social media. One time I made the mistake of posting something personal, random, and vague. However, I knew what I was doing, and about 10 minutes later, my wife said, take it off, because it was about her, and that wasn't a good thing. Of course, I've learned never ever to do something like that. Nobody even knew what I was talking about, but my wife did. Listen more, speak less. Our words are powerful in what we say daily. At work, at home, our actions go hand in hand with that as well. Are we right or are we wrong? Remember that example about the blabbermouth that I said, that they think they're the experts, or they just don't know that they're not the expert, but they always have an opinion on something. Observation, again, I don't want to be that type of individual that's always in your face or in your ear talking about something, my opinion. Sometimes people don't care. Often people don't care. And it's one of those things that, I'm cautious about what I say. I'm not going to say I walk on eggshells. As we get older, we get to learn and communicate better, or hopefully the answer is we learn and communicate better, because that doesn't always happen. Have you ever talked to someone who's 40 and should have their act together and for some reason they don't, or 60, or 20? Now a 20-year-old, I can say, okay, this person is not very experienced, and I'm an individual that was like that. When I was 20, I was a completely different person. Same person, but I acted different. Good person, not a bad person. But I was never an individual that was always in your ear saying whatever was on my mind. Why? And the reason is I'm attracted to individuals, personalities, people who are more optimistic, who are well-balanced, or well-rounded, with a good head on their shoulders. That way I can learn from them, I can teach with them, I can enjoy with them, things like that. Have you ever been around an individual who's like a broken record, and for some reason this person is negative about this or about that? I'm kind of talking about optimism now and pessimism, but that's not the intention of this video. But we come across those individuals, and I will stay away from those negative people. Also, another thing is when we are communicating with people, know what we want to say it. I'm not saying stay quiet. Say what we have to say, but do it tactfully. That's something that I learned at my first Air Force job. A senior airman, I was a two-striper, A1C, and he said, hey, deliver your message, but do it tactfully. And I learned a lot from that individual. Listen more, speak less. How are you going to listen more and speak less? And again, this is not intended for us to just be quiet. No, that's not the intention. But when we are leading people, when we are in our relationship, when we are at home or at work, how are we going to listen more and speak less, but at the same time deliver the message that we have to? Again, my friend Mitchell Moore made a video. His link is at the description of this video. If I missed something, I'm always curious as to what you think. And a video is not something that we can go back and forth and communicate. The exception and the good news is the comments below. So if you have any input, put it, because I love when I get contacted weekly by the individual who sheds a lot of light, and I'm all ears. Of course, in this case, I'm all eyes in the sense that I'm reading the comment below and learning from people as well. Have a great day. Take care.